Hi everybody, we are going to get started with the March Club Q kit. This one is called A Beautiful Adventure Begins. We are going to do all the cutting first and get that out of the way. So if you want to grab your trimmer, we always suggest Powder Puff chalking inks. This one actually suggests Peaches and Cream, Blue Lotus, Sky Blue. But as I always say, if there is a color that works for you, if you want to make it a little more antique looking, use one of the browns like Amaretto, Mocha Mama, something like that. If you want to bring out more of the greens, there is a new Weeping Willow, which I have here. There is, what's this one? Fields of Green. That one might be a little bit too much of like a Kelly green for this one, but there is, you can see here in some of the background paper, there is some greens, like a sagey kind of colored green, so if you want to bring more of that color out, you can. I actually have Blue Lotus, which is it's suggested on here, but it's one of our newest blues. I also have Mango Mai Tai, and I have Petunia, which is one of our new colors also. So you just choose what you like. I'm going to use kind of an orangey and a blue color, but you can add in any colors you would like. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to do the cutting first. There's just one paper to cut here. It is a 5x12 blue paper like this. And you just want to cut off a 5x7 off of the end here. And then we need a 4x5. The only other things that we need to cut out, which I trimmed out, you kind of fussy cut your quote out of there. And then we are going to cut these kind of crosshatch blue photo backers out of there. So go ahead and grab your trimmer. I'm going to set this out of the way. So we need a 5x7 and a 4x5, I believe. Yep. So this is already at 5 inches. Cut 5 inches for you, so turn it and cut it at 7. This leaves a 5x5 here, so you just want to cut one side down to 4. Cut an inch off, so you have a 4x5. And with this kit, that's really the only paper cutting. Sometimes there's a diagram to go by, but these are pretty simple for this one. And then we're going to cut these photo backers out, just right on the black line there. And if some of the black line actually shows and you miss it just slightly, no big deal, because you can chalk up the edges so that you don't even see that black line on there. I like to get the edges really messy and then you can't even tell. But go ahead and trim on the black lines. And really what we want is a 4.5 by 6.5. Let's put that in 4.5, but it's right on that black line, so it gives you a guide. You'll have two 4.5s by 6.5s. Oops, this one. Like that. And then you have a smaller piece here. And I think this one is a 4.5. Whoops. It's a 4.5 by 3.5. But again, you can just cut right on those outlines. And I love that this is really the only cutting. If you haven't punched out your die cuts yet, you can always hit pause and punch those out. Sometimes I actually leave them in the master sheet and just punch them out as I need them. So if you feel that this one is one that you want to do that with so that you don't get pieces tangled up or lost, you can leave them in there and just chalk them as you go. And I'll chalk a few things as we go, but whenever you would like to, I probably won't chalk everything like I normally do on my kits, but I will chalk up a few things and then you just hit pause and you chalk them as you please. So this one, I'll show you here. This is the Blue Lotus. Just run it down the edge and you can see there was that little black line there. You can't even tell when you start chalking up the edges a little bit. And I just like to go on the corners a little more. So this one is actually pretty bright. They also suggest a sky blue on the kit. I say they, but I mean me. I designed this kit and I used a lot of the sky blue. I don't have the sky blue here right now, but it's more of this lighter blue color. So if you decide you don't want it quite as bright as this Blue Lotus. We also have an older one that's called Caribbean Blue. That's a really nice one that's just a little bit lighter than the Blue Lotus. These are in our new Secret Garden Powder Puff Inks collection. We also, I don't have one here to show you. Oh, I should have brought it and put it on the video, but we also just got our ink cases back in stock, and I know a lot of you have been waiting for those for a very long time. So we finally found somebody that could make them again for us, so we have ink holders back in stock. Okay, I'm going to get out my background papers. And I'm going to kind of work on both of these at the same time. If you don't know your photos that you're going to put in here, just make sure that you don't glue the frames and stuff all the way down so that you can fit photos in later. And I am going to use this Barely Art Precision Glue. I love, 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 love this glue. It's very fine tip and you just need a little bit, little dots here and there. You don't need a lot. And I have, in the sample, I have the bigger circle on the right page and the one that's slightly smaller on the left page. And again, I'm just doing this just like I have on the instructions, but if you need to move things around, you go ahead so that it fits your pictures. And next I'm going to, I just sat my paper in water. That's not good. We are going to line these up, match these up. This is your 5x7 that you cut out of your blue paper. This one goes on top. And all I'm doing right now, I always lay it out like I want it, and then I start gluing things down. So if you want to glue as you go, that is totally fine. I like to kind of lay it out so that I know what kind of space I have. And on some of these, in the photo, I actually did some orange chalking. I'm going to do that on the quote here. So I actually have Mango Mai Tai. It says Peaches and Cream, which is a little bit lighter than this. I grabbed a little bit darker orange. I like this kind of rusty orange color. Totally up to you. Maybe try a few on a scrap piece and see what you like to match it. This makes it kind of stand out a little more. But like I said, one of the browns would look really nice with this as well. Okay, and when it comes to the smaller circles, you can chalk the edges up of these two if you'd like. Let's see if they were together like this. This first one goes on the first page. I'm just laying these out a little bit. This will tuck in behind there. The next biggest will go on this page, and then the smaller one on this page. And then I will glue some things down before I start adding the flowers, just because it gets a little bit tedious there. We are going to line up the flowers though. So for your blue flowers, let's do those first. You have the very largest white one with the largest blue on top, and the white kind of shows out around it. And then the next size down for the white, and then one of the smaller blue flowers. So if you need to pause it and get these lined up, I'll hold this out here so that you can pause it. And then there is the smallest one that fits right on there. And actually, I'm going to show you real quick how these fit. So they're kind of tricky because if these get mixed up, it's really hard to kind of line up. But if you see here, there's two petals that are kind of stuck together and they look like a heart. These ones are kind of longer and skinnier. This one right here, it's wider and it looks more like a heart. Find the two petals on here that look more like a heart and are kind of stuck together there. That fits right on top like that. And then I am going to glue these together because they kind of start sliding around. And I just put a little bit of glue there in the middle. They don't have to be glued all the way around. And actually, I'm going to show you real quick what it looks like with them chalked. So I just kind of do the edges and it shows through a little bit. You can cover the entire flower if you want to change the color. I'm just going to do just the edges a little bit and then into the middle of the petal. But I like that kind of soft look. Oops. Find that wider piece with two of them stuck together, and that lines up just like that. So you can see just a little bit of the color through there. And I also only glue the inside of this in case you want to go back and add a little more color here. Once this dries, you can go in a little further, then fold this down. You can see more of the blue. And this is one that goes on this side. I'm going to lay these out a little bit. This is, let's see, how do I do that? There we go. The largest white and one of the larger blue. And that has white that sticks out the side, so I'm just going to chalk it like this. Put a little glue in the middle. We do have this Barely Art glue on our website now because we love it so much. Super easy to use. So that big one goes over here. The next smallest here. I'm going to chalk that up a little bit. It would look good too with the orange chalked up on here. I'm doing a lot of blue because I love this blue color, but use a little orange on there. This one goes up here. And then we'll move to the orange. So I'll hold these out here again so you can see. Line them up so that these ones all fit exactly on top. They're not, the white isn't overhanging. So go ahead and line those up. And remember, take the two that are kind of stuck together there and wider and line those up. Makes it easy to match up. I'm going to go ahead and glue those. Again, I'm going to, actually I will use this petunia color. It's kind of a peachish orange. This one is in our new collection. A little glue in the middle. Just adds a little bit of extra color there. And if you want to, do the outside edge after you get it in there or on there. That looks nice too. So that's the largest orange one, and it goes over here. And as you can see on the instructions here, we have a white piece of paper behind here. That's kind of just to cover up this right here so it doesn't look so chaotic, but you will actually have a photo inside there. So what you want to do with these circles, just lay it on top of your photo, trace it out, and cut out your photo, and it goes right behind these circles. Okay, so your largest orange over here. Get the rest of these. Put together. The next orange size, the medium size. Oops, didn't line it up. Where are those two? There we go. Take my own advice there. Get it lined up correctly. There we go. This one is over here. Your quote is tucked in behind that, just slightly. And this one might be better if you have the photos that you want on this, but before you glue it down, if you don't, just make sure you don't glue anywhere that you are going to have to slide a photo behind this. So if you have a photo going here, you'll want to, I'm gonna actually glue this down real quick. And tuck it in here. Get in there. There we go. So if you are going to add a photo here later, you want to make sure not put glue over it, and maybe just put a little tiny bit to tack it down behind here. And a lot of times I will lay my whole layout out, and then I just pick up edges. Some people really don't like doing this, and they like to do it, really get things glued down, and that is totally okay. But once I have something in place where I know that I want it, I just lift up edges and tack it down. I know that this might stress some of you out because you like to have glue all the way around it, and that is perfectly fine. But just put a little bit here and there so that you know that you can peel that back up and put another photo down. And your flowers, when you glue your flowers down, you want to make sure to do just the center as well, so that if you need to peel them back up, you can do that. Okay, on this side we have, I'm going to chop this up with petunia on this orange. I think that looks really pretty, just brightens it up a little bit. These get tucked in behind here. And just make sure you put these wherever it works best for you. Remember, this won't show you have a photo in there. These can be nice for little journaling tags. You have two little buttons that go on there. There are some little banner pieces. So on the right side, on page 2 here, you'll want to use the 2 longest banners. Those get tucked in behind there. So you can either put your picture down, add those over top, or just put a picture here so it doesn't cover anything. Now on this side, there is 2 shorter ones and a longer one. They get tucked in just for a little decoration here. See, this is why I only put a spot of glue, because I can still tuck something in there if I want to. I love this kit because all the flowers and the vines and make it look really layered and beautiful, but it's really easy to put together. We have a small one over here, a small blue one next to it. And oh, what I was going to say is the reason we put just a little bit in the middle to glue down your flowers is because we want to be able to tuck the little vines in behind it. So if you do have your pictures, that's where I would start, is with the circles, cutting out the pictures that go behind your circles. These ones are easier to tuck in later, but your circle ones, I would pick the pictures for those before you get anything really glued down. These glued down. Oops, I forgot I didn't do this one. A lot of times I'll just have my ATG gun too and do little bits of that. But these bigger pictures, as long as you don't glue right here, you can always slide pictures in behind it. This barely art glue, it gives you just a few seconds to kind of readjust, and then it is pretty tacky. So you don't have long, but you have just enough to kind of readjust if you need to. Your flowers down here. And again, you'll want to adjust this so that your pictures show right there. Depending on what kind of picture you have on there, it's going to make a difference of where you put your quote. Get this glued down. Okay, and then in the center here, goes up here, and that gives you room to just tuck in your vines wherever, your little leaves and stuff, wherever you decide. So your your 4 big blue, let's get these out here, vines. The way that I have it on the instructions is, let's see, 1 going up here, and what I do is get them in place, and then I will just tip these up just a little bit and put a little adhesive behind a few of the flowers. Once it's in your page protector, it's going to stay in place. 1 big vine going down this way. And some of these, depending on where you put your flower, if you need to pull off some of the end there so that you have a little less to work with, go ahead and do that. And then I have one big one going up this way. And again, if you don't have this glued down or your picture in there, make sure you don't glue over top of it. Oh, I need my... Well, I did this a little bit out of order from me. I usually start by gluing down the back, the furthest in the back piece, which is this circle. You'll have to excuse my dog. He's not happy that the kids went to school already. He wants to follow him to school every day. Instead, he goes into work with me. He's our warehouse dog right now. He loves that too, but it's not as fun as having the boys around. And then you just add these as you go. There's smaller ones you can see on the instructions. These smaller ones are a little bit more delicate, so maybe before you lay these down, you might want to put just a couple dots of glue, then lay them down. We have a large one that goes on top of here. And when you chalk these, I do just the edges a little bit of the leaves. And this might be where you want to use a green. I'm going to use a little weeping willow. And just do the edges. Or you can lay them down on a scrap piece of paper and you can just pat them if you want them an entirely different color. And there's no rhyme or reason to this. You just put these wherever they fit best on your page. You don't want them covering up your photos and stuff like that. So depending on the photos that you have on here, you just add them wherever it is convenient. Oops, maybe not off the page like I just did, but yeah, so super simple. Put this one up this way. And the last thing is to glue your buttons to the top of the tags. And your jewels are already have adhesive on them, so you just grab them and center them in the flowers, and you're good to go. This paper line is called Travel the World. We actually have the entire set now on our website, along with the 500 and 600, well, that's the item numbers for the quote sheets. So you have lots of quotes to choose from to go with this kit. And paper. This paper has been really popular, so I'm not sure how many paper packs we have left, but if you're interested, they are on the website right now. And I hope you enjoyed this kit. Thank you so much for being a Club Q member, and we will see you next time.